All right, guys, this episode is brought to you by Major Beauty. Your girl is about to hook you up because y'all know how I do my lashes all the time. And Major Beauty is going to offer $20 off your initial full set of lashes. And the first 6 months, you can also use this promo code HERR20 and you can get $20 off your membership because she does offer membership services. So she not only does eyelashes, she also does permanent makeup, those new henna eyebrows. If you're not ready to go full force on the tattooing of the eyebrows, you can try them out by getting this henna stuff done. I haven't tried it because y'all know I got microbladed eyebrows, but I do use Kiana for my lashes. She is my new lash tech. I'm loving her. She's great and she's super duper professional and you're going to love her little studio. So check her out, The Major Beauty. Make sure you use promo code HERR20 to get a discount off your full set and your membership for the next 6 months, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. If this looks good, that's because we are on a better little system. If you're wondering why I have my phone while I'm podcasting, that's because I got my quote. Know what I'm saying? Anyway, check out these new HERR Lounge. Oh, wait, which way? Okay, HERR Lounge cups. Right up in here that I'm going to be sipping on. They are going to be available online. So if you want to purchase one, they do change color, but my drink is no longer cold. So now it's back to white, but it does turn pink because y'all know pink is my color. So I decided to go with this style. Why, you ask? Because for my ladies who want to drink it as a coffee, for my fellas who want to drink beer out of it, yes, the straw is glassed. Not bragging, just saying. So for my people who drink beer, it is a beer cup also. So, double use for those of y'all who, want to make shit happen. But anyway, so there goes that. So welcome back. Go to herappareltx.com. They will be posted on there. I think August 15th is when I'm releasing them. So with that being said, enjoy watching me sip out of my new cup.
How cute. When can people expect those?
August 15th.
August 15th. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're dropping August 15th. But anyway, so that goes that. And then before we get started, you guys know I like to start with a positive quote. And my positive quote for the day is deciding to commit yourself to long-term results rather than short-term fixes is as important as any decision you'll make in your lifetime. Again, listen, deciding to commit yourself to long-term results, long-term, rather than short-term fixes is as important as any decision you'll make in your lifetime. Why are you talking about this today? Well, I'm not really a TikTok user, but on the Discord, they talked about how you can find just about anything on TikTok. Recipes, gardening, whatever. So I decided to look up recipes because I'm just kind of bored of my menu, right? And I'll be honest, I just kind of want to do my own thing before I reach out to my nutritionist again, right? And just get in the habit of cooking healthy again, because I had that habit before to where there was really nothing. The one thing that was, I guess, unhealthy that we made, which is really not unhealthy, would be spaghetti.
Yeah.
And I make my spaghetti sauce from scratch too. I don't even use spaghetti sauce. I use tomato sauce, and I put my seasonings in there, and I make it myself. And you
don't get that classic Prego in a can.
I don't. I used to before because it was easier, but then Luisa makes it out of. She thought it was disgusting that we use the pre-made one.
Of course she does.
And she only uses tomato sauce and adds spices. I have a secret weapon. I'm not going to say it on here because it's my recipe.
Just going in a future ebook.
It's gonna, yeah, exactly, and it's so good. My girls go like this, like they're sucking their fingers, and it was just crazy how I thought about it.
Well,
one
they're babies.
day.
They should do that.
Well, not Penny. She doesn't eat anything. She's an interesting character, but she's a whole other subject on another day. Anyway, so I go through this rabbit hole of, I didn't know that fat positivity was a thing.
You didn't know that? What are you talking about?
I mean, I had seen and heard about it like on that it was on a magazine, but that's as much as I had heard about it. I hadn't heard anything else about it, or I know that they did, like Lizzo, when she tried to lose weight, they talked shit about her, right? Like, why are you, basically they felt like she was bending to the healthy mob, right? But that's all I had heard about it. I didn't know there's a whole like group of people on TikTok, and this is why I don't get on that thing, because I went down a click after click after another one. I was like, I'm so confused here. For starters, I am someone who has always been a yo-yo, except for when I was in high school, because obviously I was in every activity you can think of, so there was no need there, right? And then when I went through puberty, I lost all the weight. It was probably the second year in college where I gained most of my weight, but I liked being that way because I was actually a size 4 versus a size 0, right? So now I had some meat on me, which I was like, oh my God. But being in an all white atmosphere, because I was a minority back then, now it's different, but back then, living in College Station, there wasn't very many Hispanics. Okay, so I was one of the few minors. Let me tell you how few there were, that I had to join a Puerto Rican club because there wasn't enough Mexicans out there. Not in school, so I'm not saying there wasn't Mexicans out there, but I had to join a Puerto Rican club because there wasn't enough Mexicans, and we were Mexicans inside of Puerto Rican. There's several of us in the Puerto
brown,
Rican.
just go together over there.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you kind of feel like, damn, you can't gain any weight because these girls that you kind of deal with on a day-to-day basis are super duper thin. So, you know, as someone who's always yo-yoed, it kind of makes you think. I was also in the dance team, so you really couldn't like be fat anyway. You weren't allowed, you know? So it's kind of one of those things.
Back then, they didn't let that slide.
Back then in high school, it was like almost, when I was on the drill team, it was almost like a, what do you call that? Like you just knew that you weren't allowed to gain weight. Does that make sense?
It was a, what do they call that?
I can't think of what it's called. It was like just.
It's like it was understood.
Yes, exactly. It was just like understood that you weren't supposed to gain. You could join chubby, but you couldn't get bigger than what you were when you joined.
What was for dance?
The drill team.
The drill team, right? Okay. If it was cheerleading, like we know who the base is going to be.
Yeah. So basically. Exactly. So it was like you kind of just knew, and there weren't, but maybe. And I was considered thick, and I was super small my waist. We're going to show a picture. I'm going to send you a picture, Rob, so that you can use that as
I'll use it for a clip.
So I was super small, right? My waist was this little, but I've always had ginormous hips, right? Which made me which is why I was never really considered for ballet, like performances. I wasn't small, like slender enough. My legs were really big. I was on the soccer team. So my dad used to always say, I was always in the front because I was the shorter on the drill team, but he said that he would just go down and see where the biggest legs were, and that's where he knew I was. My legs were super muscular. If you saw my bodybuilding journey, then you kind of know what my legs get like when I'm pretty muscular. Except you're playing soccer, your legs are even bigger.
Right.
So just imagine that. So I've always kept myself pretty in shape. I'm going to say when I became an adult, that's where I began to yo-yo, because now I learned what partying was. And it was like, what? This is fun. Now you're eating garbage at 3 a.m. and thinking you're never going to gain weight. I think I've said this on the podcast before, that when I worked at a call center, I remember this lady walking by my desk, and I was eating, I think, like Taco Bell or something. And she goes, you better watch out, because all this food creeps up on you. When you get older, you got to watch what you eat. She was somebody who was very healthy, right? And thin and slender and tall. And I thought to myself, I remember just saying, well, that's never going to be me, because I go to the gym. I still went to the gym, even though I ate garbage, right? But it does catch up to you eventually when you stop going to the gym and you go to school full time and you work full time. The gym now becomes not even secondary. Like, it comes like fourth on your list, right? Because you have homework, you have to study, and now it's like working out what? When my dad passed away due to diabetes, which caused a heart attack, right? and I did my first 5K, and it was to raise money for the Red Heart Association, right? When I did that, it was almost like something triggered in my head and said, listen, looks like your dad's family kind of diabetes runs in their family. So if you don't start paying attention and taking care of yourself, this is the route you're going to end up going, right? So I got super duper health conscious again. Now we're talking about like 24 years old. And I had been I'm going to say I got up to a size 12 during that time, right? But it didn't bother me because I was partying, having a good time. I was going to school. I was just doing my own thing, right? And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't until that happened that I just kind of said, this isn't you. Like, this heavier person isn't you. Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's when I got back into working out. During that time, it's also when my aunt opened her gym, and she came and kind of said, hey, do you want to be an instructor? And that's how that whole thing started. And I got back on my fit lifestyle. My point of that is that I couldn't believe that they were making being fat a positive thing. First of all, I'm not talking about fat people. Like, I'm not here to judge anybody, right? But I did see one reel where you understood why this person became obese. She was talking about her struggle. Mind you, the comments on her, because she was changing her lifestyle, was insane. It was like, you should be happy with your body. She had already lost the weight. She looked amazing. She was wanting to get her skin removed. It was a lot of skin. A lot of skin. So she must have been really big. Well, she was really big based on the pictures, but she did one of those that goes fast, right? So you briefly saw the different I guess phases in her life. But I guess anytime her mom wanted her to like do something, or it was a reward, I'll make you your favorite peanut butter and jelly, or I'll make you blah, 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 so food was always a reward for her. You know what I'm saying? So she ate, and anytime there was an emotion, she ate. Anytime she was sad, happy, whatever, celebrations were with food. You know what I'm saying? So food for her was delicious to the point where she loved to cook, but she ate a lot also, right? Mm-hmm. And she had a heart scare, which made her now focus on her health. And now she had dropped all the weight. So she was just kind of encouraging people. That's the reel that I saw. And I didn't know that not a reel. TikToks were now this long. I thought before they were like,
everything starts at like 15 seconds, right? And then it's like, 3 minutes later, like, why don't we just go to YouTube?
Exactly. And so again, I don't ever get on TikTok unless someone sends a TikTok for me to go look at, right? I just repost whatever I posted in Instagram, and I don't even check to see if the comments. I'm just going to be honest with you. I just thought maybe this is a good way to promote the podcast, right? So that's why I decided to kind of start posting things on there again.
It's good.
But I was looking for healthy recipes. And so that's kind of how I went down this rabbit hole. And I just want to tell you that being fat is not okay. I'm serious.
You just fucking came out of left field.
I'm just saying, like, being fat is not okay, guys. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. Not because of for any other reason, but for health reasons. That is why it's not okay. So don't let anybody tell you, girl, love your body. Love your body enough to where you're taking care of it so that in the future, you're not a problem to your kids. To now your kids are having to take care of you because you didn't take care of your body. You don't have to have a six pack, and you don't have to be this amazing looking woman. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, look at my biceps or anything like that, right? But health wise, be conscious of your cholesterol, be conscious of your high blood pressure, you know what I'm saying? You not high blood, but of your, pressure, like where is it? Your diabetes, all these things are important for you to keep up with because of the fact that they have, consequences when you get older. If you're on medication for whatever it is, for cholesterol, for high blood pressure, for diabetes, if you're on insulation.
Well, you got plenty of insulation.
Insulin. Any of those things, guys, it should make you stop and think, how can I reverse this? And what do I need to do to reverse this? And it has nothing to do with love your body. Yes, love your body enough to where you want to get back to being healthy so that you're not depending on these medications, guys. Now we're going to go into big pharma. These medications have secondary effects. You know what I'm saying? So the longer you take them, they're going to hurt something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're taking care of one problem, but they'll have something else that's going to affect another thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go like with birth control, right? It's like if you take hormonal birth control, now it can lead to other issues in the future. Should you try to have children, maybe it can just cause a whole bunch of issues, right? And so I just kind of went down this rabbit hole of people considering it fat shaming.
Okay. Well, what got you? Let's rewind a little bit. I also have a new camera, guys, but it's all not figured out yet. So if it looks a little strange from shot to shot, just bear with us while we set it all up.
Because this looks cute over here.
Okay, all right. You have a way better camera than I have on me, and it's not set up properly, but whatever. We're rolling with it.
My camera's good, too.
It is a great camera.
I just don't know the settings.
Yeah,
so that's probably
welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
So that's probably the problem.
It's different. It's this one right here. Like, this is as good as it gets, honestly, like without breaking the bank. Actually, no, this breaks the bank. This is a really good camera.
It's a good camera, yeah.
No, but so... I appreciate you bringing up that subject because it's, I don't know who it was. I don't know, it might have been Jordan Peterson or somebody here recently bringing up the fact that like we've lost a lot of things, all right? Our minds being one of them, it seems like. But just to stick on what you've said, don't you think that if it wasn't for social media, and we always pick on it, but there are a lot of dangers to it mentally, I think we've come to find out over the last 10, 15 years.
Here's the thing. I really feel that with social media, right, they've okayed a lot of these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's beautiful big models, plus models. Mm-hmm. But with plus models, I feel like you need to also, if you are in good shape, then say that. Like if you're in good health, not good shape, I'm sorry, good health, right? Because nowadays, you got to remember, they consider plus a size 12, even size 14.
I don't even know what that means.
So even these sizes that are not really big sizes are considered plus. So just because you're those sizes doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have any issues, mm-hmm. but you are on the bigger end of whatever is no. And I don't even know what regular is. That's why I say don't go. There is no such thing. Everybody's shape is going to be different. What I feel you should go based on is your health.
How many caveats should we give before we keep talking about this? Like, we love everybody. Women are great. All shapes and sizes, fantastic. We're talking about more than that.
No, I don't think all shapes and sizes are fantastic. I'm just being real. Like, this is when I saw that. Really, what this is doing, Rob, is damaging people and making y'all think that being fat is okay is not okay. Yeah. And I don't say that. And this is my one
caveat.
Yeah, I'm being as honest as I can with you guys as someone who honestly has yo-yoed a lot. You know what I'm saying? Goes up and down. As you can tell right now, I'm heavier than I was ever before. Even after having Penny, I was not this big. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not happy with where I am, which is the reason why you don't see me on camera a lot, which is the reason why I don't post a lot of pictures. You know, I have a photo shoot this Wednesday, and it's going to be the first photo shoot that I do this size. And the reason I decided to do it was because I also want for people to see my journey. I want for people to see, like, this is where she was, but she's working towards it. And as you see, I actually wanted to do it to see myself. Like, this is where you started, and look at where you are a month later, right? And here's where you are another month later. So, there was a lot happening in life, and I think that happens to a lot of people, which is the reason why the weight gaining happens. Like I said, when I was in college, I was working full-time, going to school full-time. So I picked up whatever was on the way home, which is usually fast food, right? And honestly, prepping food was like one of the things I didn't have time for. But really, if you care about your health, you will make time for it. One way or the other, you can find healthier solutions, even if you went to fast food. Like, for example, if you want a crispy chicken from, let's just say Wendy's, because it's not the healthiest, right? Wendy's, get the crispy chicken, but don't get the fries, and get water. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn where the balance is, you know? If you want to go to Burger King, right? Like my jam there is the chicken fries. So what I do is I'll just have the chicken fries.
It's funny how many times I heard people over the weekend talk about that.
Burger King, because they were saying, "Oh, we heard y'all's Burger King thing." So
hey, you can tighten the sides, so it stops flapping on you.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh gosh, there we go.
Both sides.
So yeah, that's the kind of like, you have to think about those things and take in consideration that there are healthy choices. It's the fact you're not making the right choice.
But you know what also we should highlight, as also someone who's yo-yoed forever, is that balance. That word balance, in my opinion, gets overused. When you're trying to reach a goal as tremendous as I haven't been a certain size since I was in middle school, and you're 40, the balance aspect goes out the window for a while until you learn how to retrain yourself to reach a balanced state. Mm-hmm. So whether it's the number one thing, a caloric deficit to your activity, your walking, your movement, your lifting, all the different things, there's going to be a completely shift in the balance of things where you're going all in on knowing what a deficit is for your body and then learning how to work out and so on and so forth. And then maybe, honestly, let's be real, a year and a half later, maybe 2 years, you have found how you can eat, how you can work out, how much activity you have to expend, and then you find a new balance. But from the jump, there is no balance.
And that's the thing. Like, so for example, before I could go out to eat with whoever. Your badass burrito that you're eating in front of me, it wouldn't faze me. Like, I'd be like, look at my body and look at yours. I'm going to be honest with you. That's how cocky I felt. I'm just going to be honest. I felt that cocky to where I was like, sucks that you're eating that. If only you knew what it's doing to your body. That's honestly,
Judgy McJudgerson.
That's how fucked up you get when you're bodybuilding, though.
That's
true. I think Don can probably relate to this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think when you're a bodybuilder,
meanwhile, she's miserable on the inside.
I was actually not. I actually really liked it.
Yeah. No, you fooled yourself to have liking it.
Maybe, I don't know, but I felt like when anytime I'd see someone eating something, it's almost like I could visually see this person just getting fatter. It was the weirdest thing ever, and I was like, if only that person knew what that's going to do to their body. Okay, fast forward now to me. I don't have that same discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's lost, and it's probably because I don't have a goal. Does that make sense? Like, I don't have something, like, I'm not in a rush to get to this.
But the irony is there is no rush. There's no rush.
When?
For these goals, like, there's no rush.
Right now there isn't, but I was saying when I was bodybuilding, there was a goal.
Yeah, but you're saying right now you don't have a goal.
And that's why I feel like I'm so laid back.
But you don't need a goal. You have to get to the point where you don't need a goal.
No, right now my goal is to even mentally get back.
No,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's my goal right now. Not necessarily physically. My goal right now is to that's why I was going down the rabbit hole of looking for recipes to even start making these meals where you go to my refrigerator right now, there's not one meal prepped. I actually brought a salad today, and I told Pete, hey, on your way in, when you come in to the office, will you pick me up some grilled chicken from Chick-fil-A? Okay, so that I can add it on my salad today. So I just did that because I told him, I said, food, when you have to think about it, that's when it becomes a problem. But if you have it prepped in your refrigerator for you just to grab and pull out, then it's kind of like it becomes an easier thing, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
No, for sure.
And so then that habit is lost. So that's what I mean by, I don't necessarily have a physical goal just yet. I have more of a mentality goal right now. Like, get back into that. I don't miss the gym. I have to at least make it to the gym 3 times a day. You know what I'm saying? I at least need to make sure my meals are prepped. Even if I don't make it to the gym, the fact that I go on my walk at 7:30, you know what I'm saying? It's like, still, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So my point to you guys today is, if you are somebody who's overweight, who has always struggled with weight, first, it has to start with you finding the underlying issue. Like, what's your relationship with food? Do you do this because you're depressed? And if so, can you find an alternative to your, you know what I'm saying? To what makes you turn to food, right? Because now it's a health issue. Now it has nothing to do with, I hate when I was watching these videos, Rob, and they were making it seem like being thin or in shape is a bad thing. And I was shocked. I was like, where have I been? Why don't I
Let's
know?
go back to that. Why were you so... I mean, literally the last 4 or 5 years has been nothing but body pause.
I think it's because I don't look for that type of stuff. And since I don't look for it, the algorithm doesn't throw it my way.
You didn't notice when Target started having all the big posters and stuff that they use in the women's section of like really, really, really large women?
Well, they weren't really large to me. I just considered them like more of the plus size models, which is your 14, 16 size. So I just saw them as that. When I noticed there was something happening was on Victoria's Secret, even in the pink section. Usually it used to just be a bunch of like young college girls, but now they have thicker girls on there. But again, those girls are not what I would consider obese. They're just a little bit thicker girls in college, which I think those models are just fine, right? My problem is when you're this large, you're huge, right? And if you have a problem being able to pick up a shoe or tie in your shoe, you have a problem. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You have a problem and you have to find a way to work at it, and find what that issue is. Have a talk with yourself. If your surroundings are not positive, if your partner is not supportive, if your partner is not someone who's encouraging, you need to probably find a way to say, you know what? You are not good for my energy right now. I'm on a mission and I have to do this. And I know that takes a lot for a lot of people, right? That's why a lot of people are on like antidepressants, right? They're on these things because they don't know how to cope with these feelings. And I think that if you just find good energy, you find good people to surround yourself with, you start to educate yourself on food, period, right? And that's where that class that we never had with John would have been perfect for a lot of our people. But it sucks because I would love it to make it open for everybody, not just the people in our Discord, because I think that, granted, we are one of the fattest countries in the world, right? And this is probably the problem, is that enough people don't get informed. That we have an information problem with everything. Politics, you know what I'm saying? You're not informed. You just believe whatever anybody says. Now we're talking about body issues, right? And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not talking about having a six-pack. I'm talking about being healthy, making sure all your levels are where they're supposed to be, and that you don't require extra medication. You know what I'm saying? And when you say something is hereditary, then you need to make it a point to where you're the stopping point of this hereditary thing, to where you put a stop to it. You be the example for your kids. That's one of the issues I have with Penny. One of the fights that Luisa and I kind of always have is like, she feels like, oh, they're little, they're fine now. But there is a thing called juvenile diabetes as well. You know what I'm saying? So Penny understands that when she poops pebbles, it's because she hasn't had enough water. If her pee is super yellow, she knows that she hasn't had enough water, and she'll come tell you, I need to drink more water. Don't give me any more juices today. And she'll tell you herself. And I don't want to traumatize my daughter either about food, right? Or things like that. But I want her to be conscious and know that it's important to have vegetables. She doesn't eat vegetables. She doesn't like it. So I had to find a solution. She has super greens in a shake. You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure out a way to give vegetables, because she won't even do potatoes, guys. Who doesn't like potatoes?
It's going to take a while. I mean, Weston didn't start eating meat, honestly, until like maybe 2 years ago.
Penny just started doing, she'll do chicken, but only from Cane's. She does ground beef. She'll do ground beef. And it has to be like certain, she's a texture person.
Well, I guess before we get into the kids, everyone's kids, I'm sure everyone has their own issues with getting the kids to eat things. To go back just to people, I was listening to Andrew Huberman on Rogan the other day, and he's a neuroscientist, I believe. And I was kind of in and out because I was doing other things, but in the background, I was listening to it, and they were talking about inheritable traits, and he was talking about studies that were showing here recently, or however long ago, that certain traits are way more inheritable than we ever thought. Like, for instance, like weight, or metabolism issues, or things like alcoholism could be as high as 50+% inheritable. So if you had a parent that had a problem with alcohol, or you had a parent that had a problem with whatever, substance abuse, or even just kind of hereditary, blood pressure, diabetes, or whatever, it gets way more inheritable than we once thought. So if you know that, make better decisions for your kids' sake.
And that's what I mean. Like, I really tried my hardest, and kind of Luisa feels like calm down. She's a kid. And I don't think she gets it, right? She doesn't get, because in Mexico, kids are and I also feel like the reason why in Mexico they are able to do this is they don't have, and not everybody can afford a car. So walking is more likely. So you're walking more. And although they eat better over there, you don't see as many, you see a chubby person, okay? But you don't see as many obese people because they can't walk that long and they got to walk to these places. Same thing in Italy. I wondered how they eat fucking bread all day long, pasta all day long, and I didn't see obese people out there. The people I saw obese were ones that lived outside of the city because they drive.
I thought you were going to say Americans that are visiting.
No, it's like because they drive. So those were the only obese Italians that I saw.
So talking about your body, like the way you just described it, what's worse? Having a lot of size on you and not being able to be mobile and move, or having more of the health side issues, right? Because if you think about it, like your knees and your joints and all those things are another element that we haven't talked about. That, yeah, slightly high blood pressure is bad and slightly other things are bad. But if you can't move, that's terrible.
But that comes to do with your size. I mean, I remember this girl named Brenda that used to come to my Zumba classes. She was very overweight, Rob, very overweight. And she couldn't jump in a lot of the movements that she would do in my class, but she would try her best. No surgery, no nothing. Okay. Mm-hmm. And she managed to lose the weight all by herself. And she looks amazing right now. But she had to make that decision on her own that it was time to make change. Mm. If I showed you what she looked like at the very beginning, and where she is right now, she's still working out. She's still, health conscious. She's, you know what I'm saying? She's the size she wants to be. And it has to be a decision that you make on your own for whatever your reason is. Whether it's, I'm going to tell you the story about the lady that's in my conditioning class. She's 70 years old, guys. And how she started was because she had really bad knee issues, right? And so she said that her son came home. He was in elementary. Now we're talking about over 20 years ago, okay? Or something like that. Her son came home and said, "Hey, Mom, they're going to start giving free aerobics classes at my school." She's like, "What's aerobics?" Right? So she went and sat in the cafeteria to see what aerobics were. And so they said, "Hey, you want to join?" She's like, No, I'm just here to watch." They left her alone. But then Michelle, who is the current instructor at Urban Jungle, came and gave a class. And so she was watching her. And then she said, "Oh, this is interesting. I don't know what this is, but I like this. This is like pretty cool." So she said that the next time they're like, "Hey, you need to fill out this waiver if you're going to be in here." And so she tried the class and she loved it. And then she said, "Hey, do you teach somewhere else?" And that's how she ended up going to Michelle's classes. And if you see this lady right now, I mean, she is my partner, y'all, in this class sometimes. I mean, she partners up with everybody, I'm saying, but like, I mean, she's 70 years old. She can kick the fuck out of some pads, bro. She kicks some fuck out of some pads. I have video. And she still does, like, she doesn't do the sprawls. Mm-hmm. She don't fuck with that shit, but she'll still jog. She still kicks. She punches. I mean, 70 years old. And she says, "I work out to be able to eat what I want. I have no health issues. I have to have my pan dulce and my coffee in the morning. I have it." And she's like, "And then the rest of the day, I just, I eat what I want, but I also don't serve 5 plates. I don't put these big old portions. I have to make dinner. She has to cook for her husband." So she's like, we both sit down and eat. And that's what it is. A lot of it is portion control, right? Mm-hmm. Like knowing what is enough. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes we kind of like force feed. You know what I'm saying? We're like, damn, this shit is so good. I'm so full. It's so good. I want to keep eating this. You know what I'm saying? Like
just a little more.
Just exactly. And, I just, I don't know. I was watching these videos drop and I was in shock at how many people really think that being obese and being overweight is something positive, and I just want to remind you and tell you that it's not a positive thing. So whatever you're struggling, there's something more you're struggling with. I'm just going to say that.
And having people that tell you like you should love, like if someone's trying to shame you out of getting into shape, that's a terrible person. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be encouraged. They can do whatever they want, but you shouldn't be like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be trying so hard to XYZ. Like, no, you should. They're terrible. They hate themselves, honestly, just to be completely honest.
And they probably don't want to see you do better than them, if anything. You know what I'm saying? They probably want you to just kind of like...
You know, that's common in relationships where one person's completely like not into fitness and the other one is. Well, the other one will try to bring the one down that is into fitness and make them feel like, why are you going to the gym so much? Why are you doing this and that and the other?
I can see that for sure. I never had that problem with Pete, thank God. He was kind of more like, oh, this is what you made for dinner. This is what I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to eat anything that was not part of my menu, he ate it on his own time, not in front of me. But I remember we would travel and I would have to bring my food and he would still just eat whatever he wanted to eat. And I sat there and ate my it was tough, you know, and I still did it, you know? So that's why I'm saying, like, when you really want to get healthy, again, that's why I want to reiterate that I'm not talking about doing a bodybuilding competition. That is totally different.
Yeah.
I'm saying when you really want to change and you're ready to change, because you will be a burden on your children in the future, because they're going to have to worry about, is mom going to her, what do they call, or mom or dad, whatever, going to,
or mom and mom. No, I'm just kidding. What
is that called? Dialysis? Are they going to dialysis, right? Now you're worried about mom not getting her dialysis or dad not getting his dialysis, right? Now you're worried about, you know, high blood pressure, you know, gosh, is mom, you know, that's the silent killer, you know? So I'm more concerned with health. That's what I'm concerned with. You know what I'm saying? That was my biggest scare when I went to go get like my checkup. It was like after this, because I told you that right after I had Sonny, my blood pressure was really high. And so it was not common for me. And that's why I was like really weird. Listen, your body talks to you guys and you have to listen to it. My body right now is talking to me and it's telling me it's heavy. It's telling me it's heavy. Like, we're not used to being this size. Like, can you hurry up and get on it? You know what I'm saying? And I say that because, for example, my carpal tunnel that I got due to pregnancy, right, is still bothering me right now. It's with Penny, I got it as well when I was pregnant, but whenever I dropped the weight, right, it went away. I'm still heavier. At this time, at a year, I'll send you a picture of that too, so that you can post this in the video. After having Penny, I at least still got down to a size 6.
Okay.
Guys, I'm still a size 10 right now. So, and while most are like, that's not big, you're absolutely correct. But this is not I don't want to be a size 10. I'm not comfortable. And I'm only 5'1".
Yeah, that's also
not comfortable
with it.
For somebody who's this size. It's not comfortable. Even like, you know what I'm saying, doing certain exercises, it's uncomfortable. So that's why I'm saying, like, this has, and I'm telling you as somebody who right now mentally is struggling to get back to that state of mind of like, you need to get back on it. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you prep your food. I know it's a lot of work, but you got to prep this food. That's why when I had Dawn doing my food, it was like amazing because I didn't think about anything. I just waited for you to deliver my food and that was it.
Yeah. It's just less. It's more time back.
More time. Yeah, exactly. But it becomes a crutch for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm someone that needs some things I have to think about less. Does that make sense? Having that was one less thing I had to think about, right? Going to your trainer is kind of one less thing you have to think about. But I realized I had to sit down and be like, hold on. You yourself needs to get it together before you can ask for all this help. This help is great for me once I get mentally where I need to be, right? And that's kind of like what I mean by you have to have that talk with yourself. Like when is enough for you? Where you're like, I don't want my knees to hurt anymore. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to go and outside and, you know what I'm saying, maybe take my kid for a bike ride. I want to go to bike rides together. It's hard to ride a bike when you're big. Trust me, I did it when I had to go to spin class when I had this huge belly and you're pedaling to the side. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. And I was working out even when I was pregnant, and everyone thinks that everybody's journey is different, and they think because you worked out your entire pregnancy that you're just going to bounce back easily. Everybody is different. I'm older also. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be 41 this year. I just felt like this topic was really important, Rob, because we need to get back to reality. And reality is that being overweight is not okay. And it's not okay because you're damaging your organs, you're damaging your body, right?
Right.
Now, the results of taking care of yourself is amazing because you'll start to feel better. You'll start to look better. People will want to know what you're doing. Then you'll have people who will hate on you because you're doing so great and you're looking great. Look at Crystal, right? She had to make a decision on her own to say, I'm ready to make a change. And she did. Look at her transformation is amazing, right?
Did you guys post, I don't know, but did you guys post pictures of before and after?
We only posted it in our challenge.
For the people that participated?
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess for her, it was like she needed to make a change for herself and probably for her kids because she has kids, right? And so look where she is now, right? And she's working on just continuing to better herself. And it's a journey, guys. It's a journey. It's not, I hate when people are like, I haven't seen this a lot lately, and I don't know why. I don't know if anybody else knows this, but I don't see anybody now still advertising these teas.
Oh, like the tummy teas?
Do you see that that's kind of stopped, or is that still happening?
No, I haven't seen it. No, yeah.
Okay, isn't that weird that all of a sudden stops? I also haven't seen a lot of like the, or maybe again because I don't follow these, but I used to see them a lot more when I would be posting fitness videos and stuff. They would kind of come on the algorithm. Makes sense.
So you probably don't get any of this stuff anymore. All the ads aren't really targeted at you anymore.
So I don't see any of the waist trainer advertisements anymore. So a lot of these things, the shitting teas also, like those, I don't see that as often anymore. And I don't know if that's the reason why, but all those things that are promoted to you for easy fix, a diet pill, they don't work, guys. And they're super duper temporarily. So you're going to shit for that whole day, and you're probably just shitting shit you were full of shit. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but that's basically what it was, right? You just probably are not digesting your food correctly. So you obviously have all this stuff and you're just releasing that. So or like people that do those, do juicing or whatever. What is that? It's like a juicing.
Yeah. Like like what the fuck?
It is juicing, right?
Yeah.
Juice detox. Yeah. So, okay, cool. You'll detox for...
If anything, that should put you in the path to making the better decisions. Like if you feel like that made you feel better and you're making better decisions, and cool, that was your stepping stone in the right direction.
Exactly. And so imagine if juicing with vegetables and fruits made you feel well. Imagine eating like that all the time. Now, here's the contrary. People are going to say food is really expensive right now. Again, there are chicken you can buy in a bulk. Like if you go to if you go to Sam's or anything like that, how you can buy a whole bunch of chicken. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with chicken that are great for you. You can make chicken salad, you can make grilled chicken, you can make chicken patties. I mean, it's like never ending recipes for chicken, even ground beef, right? And you're thinking like, well, my ground beef that I get is the cheaper one. I always get the super lean one, right?
96.4, baby.
Yes, exactly.
Or 96, whatever it is.
And so I also don't do beef. I do sirloin. So, I mean, it is a form of beef, but I do ground sirloin. So, which is even more lean, right? And sometimes you have to make decisions. Like there's some things that I buy that are off brand. And then there's some things that I buy that are brand because I don't want to eat the shitty version of it. You know what I'm saying? So I just advise you to not believe what TikTok or Reels are saying about it being okay for you to be big like that. It's not okay health-wise.
I think everything is, cyclical in the sense that it goes in and out. We were just mentioning all the things that I don't see that anymore. Could be the algorithm, or it just could be that it's completely out. Like people aren't wearing waist trimmers and they're not buying poo teas and this tea and detox tea and whatever other teas. It's just kind of the lifespan of it is over, right? So now when it comes to the body pause thing, it's been going on for so long. Like I remember one in particular. I don't remember her name, and I wouldn't say it anyway if I did. But she was a singer, songwriter in California. I interviewed her years ago, probably almost a decade ago, and she was a big girl, like a big girl. And when the time that I knew her, she had some contest, like she was doing a contest with some show. Let's say some something, right? And they were following her around and they were showing her journey. Like she was probably, let's just say 450, 500 pounds. And she was probably like 5'11", 6. She was a big girl, like tall and just big. And she was always struggled with her weight. To this day, I recently actually just saw her profile. She's still extremely big, but somewhat smaller. But she was always on that, like, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna move, I'm just gonna build better habits, and so on and so forth. Fast forward a couple of years later, hops on this body pause thing, and now it's just constant like swimsuit photos, and like she's just letting it all hang out and doesn't try to work out or do anything that she was trying to do before. And it's just interesting that was a drastic, like she just needed more reassurance or more affirmation. I don't know, from people that follow her, or I don't know what it is, to just be like, fuck working out, I'm not gonna do this, I'm just gonna go on the body pause thing and tell everybody, hug yourself and love yourself and be as large as you want. I'm like, all right, well, if that's what you want to do.
But what is being as large as you want going to do for you?
It's gonna.
I'm talking about maybe today you feel good. I'm talking about if you continue to eat, you're only going to get bigger. You're not going to get smaller. So if you continue this journey of being okay with being big, what is 10 years from now going to look like for you? What is 15 years from now going to look like for you? What
I don't think they care.
issues are you going to have?
I don't think they care.
But don't you want to live? That's why we're dying faster.
Some of them really don't care. They feel fun. I'm gonna enjoy my life now and fuck it.
But you can't enjoy food. That's my thing. We're going to go back to balance. And I know you said balance is such a,
overused.
It's an overused
term.
But it's a balance. If you eat clean 90% of your time, right? Or even 80% of the time, that other 20% you can fuck off because you're doing good for the majority of your life.
Yeah, but you're explaining it in a logical way, all right? As somebody that even uses the term eat clean, these people that are that big, like this particular woman who's probably still in the 400s and in her mid-30s, maybe mid-late 30s, she isn't thinking about it logically because she's not even using the terms like eat clean or like 80-20, or I'm going to try to spread it out to where I can make better decisions here and there and then have a pocket of time where I'm just going to indulge. It's just, I want this and that's what I'm going to have it whenever I want it. It's really an American mindset, I think. Like it's just indulgence, it's overindulgence, it's gratification, it's immediate gratification. It's unfortunate, but they've convinced themselves that this is what I want, this is what I'm going to have.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate. I was really disappointed in watching that yesterday because we're such on a weird spectrum right now. You have the extreme young girls wanting to look the certain way. They're idolizing these influencers, doing the hair a certain way, wanting to be cute a certain way, the boobs, the butt, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have this other spectrum of big women telling other women that it's okay to love yourself at that size. Love yourself at any size, right? But also know that big size has consequences in the future. Even doing the whole, and also on even the other spectrum of anorexia. Anorexia is the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay? Being anorexic is not a good thing either. That's a whole, it's like two different, it's like, again, both have issues. Want to know why? Something this girl is doing to keep making herself throw up or not eating or whatever it is, right, is causing this, I guess, what do you want to call it? This, what's the right word for it? I guess this
dysphoria?
Dysphoria, I guess, right? It's would it be, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we're going to go here to that extreme. And then you have this extreme where it's like, it's okay to be obese. And it's kind of like both have issues. Isn't it? Don't they get like some kind of issue, like esophagus issue from throwing up?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. From the acid.
Yeah. So don't we see how there's consequences, guys? There's consequences.
Bro, we are a weird species. Like human beings, I constantly think about it. Like I was listening to, not to completely go off the rails here, but I know we're about to wrap up the public episode. Do you believe in aliens?
I don't know. I guess the term what aliens means, yes, because we are aliens.
Right. That's what I say. Yeah. But extraterrestrials visiting this planet in like, spaceships and such.
According to Stranger Things. Bro, I'm fucking scared of Stranger Things.
We haven't started the newest season. I heard it's great.
Bro, it's so scary.
I love it. I love that stuff.
We're going to talk about that in the second episode.
Fantastic. But also, just aliens, like flying saucers.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know what it is. You know how some people say, I believe there's something powerful higher than us, right?
Yeah,
and because
like
they don't want to say
higher power.
they don't want to believe that there's a God, right? You know, those people, right? I guess that's kind of me with aliens. I think and I feel like there's some kind of weird shit, but I don't know what that weird shit is.
Yeah. You described me without saying me. That's fine. You're being kind. It's fine. Like, those people that believe that kind of thing. Yeah, totally.
That's kind of how I see it. But yes, so I guess I do believe that there is.
It's almost impossible not to think that, right?
I do.
We know there's galaxies and universes. We even know there's different dimensions,
Stranger Things makes you know all that. Yo, real quick.
Yeah.
Church this Sunday, bro, talked about that. What is real?
Yeah? We have five-ish minutes.
Okay.
Break it down. 10,
What
actually.
is real? So basically, he kind of just broke it down to where, and this was my interpretation. That's why I know that's why the whole Bible is always an issue with people, because there's like everybody has their interpretation of it. But I took it as like, we are living in this weird world right now, right? Into where it's like, what is real? Right? And because he said that the pastor was saying when he saw the Matrix and that his mom had made him a peanut butter jelly sandwich. It was like the best peanut butter jelly sandwich. But then I started thinking like, so am I really eating this? Is this sandwich real? Right? And it just starts to make you think like, are you in the metaverse? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he just kind of said like the things that are basically like, people's realities are so different. Like the reality they're teaching you in school, right?
Okay.
So it's like that's their reality and they want to make it your reality, but that's not really the real. You know what I'm saying? It was intense. You should go on YouTube and watch it, bro. I'm telling y'all, if you don't come to Second Baptist, you need to.
Listen, I was telling you before the show that we had another couple that we had dinner with last night, and we were, somehow just the conversation always goes into wild directions. It's fun, crazy things. And so we started talking about, they're from the East Coast, both of these.
Okay.
He and her are, it's like New York and like Michigan and Boston, all those different areas. Somehow we started talking about traveling, and are you guys into traveling? We're like, no, not really, Don and I really aren't anymore, or aren't really into the idea at the time, considering the world, which I think you can relate. And somehow the gentleman was asking about like, if you've never lived anywhere outside of Texas, like you don't understand how a place like this, it's a great place to live, but it's such a waste of time.
In Texas?
Yeah. I go explain. He goes, well, Texas is great, right? I live here. But then you just realize it's a waste of time. I go, define what you mean. Like, it's just, there's not much to like do. And we started going through these things about like, what is it that you want to do with your life kind of thing. So I asked him, I was like, well, what's to you, like, what's the whole point of being alive? And they both went on the like traveling, seeing other cultures and embedding yourself in like all the different things that go on in the world. Like,
what are you talking about? We're one of the most diverse cities.
Yes, but I mean, he meant more so of like going to like Peru and then like doing things, the way natives did, or going to like different just parts of the world and experiencing all those things. I'm like, okay, so traveling and being cultured, I agree with that. I don't believe that being here or being in any state or city is a waste of time, because then you really get into like a nihilistic thought process where it's like, well, all of this is a waste of time. If you think about it, it really is. If you want to just get heady, what are we doing? Like, it's all a waste of time, but what is your mission on the planet while it's here? And then reframe it.
Okay, let's end with that. What is your mission on the planet, Rob?
Dude,
have you figured yours out?
I've been thinking about this since I was probably 21 and did my first shroom trip or whatever, but it changes, right? So to this day, and for the last 5 or so years, it has literally been, for the last 10 years, I always knew I was going to do something in podcasting and having long form conversations with people.
Okay.
Because long form conversations, even before it was cool or known, before Rogan was even like a huge star, it was like man, this is like the great medium to get information that you can't get anywhere else. If you think about it, 10 years ago, you had the 3-minute late night sets, you had the 2-minute news segments, you had the fucking Jerry Springer shows, which were like the longest form, which was just garbage.
Yeah.
And then you had talk radio, which if it was terrestrial radio and it was like AM, like my dad would always listen to terrestrial radio, AM or FM, he was a truck driver. Yeah. You would get thoughts and ideas and interviews in a platform that you didn't really get in many other, other mediums. And then FM regular radio, you had people like, Chingo would do radio. They'd have him in there for 5-10 minutes sometimes, maybe longer segments. He was like, can you do the next segment? He'd be in there 15, 20, half an hour maybe. But then Sirius XM and satellite radio and podcast became a thing. And you're like, oh my God, like you can learn so much from so many different people. And we all listen to different shows, right? So to answer your question, it was going to be podcasting long form or helping the production of long form conversations because I felt it had the biggest impact on people as a society. So couple that with being a parent. So I have stepchildren, and now the biggest mission is having these conversations, relaying them to my children, and then having them be good contributions to society because it's literally, in my opinion, what we're meant to do is like, luckily I have kids, though I didn't have kids, you know what I mean? You have kids now, and it's like that, encouraging these kids to be something is literally the only thing that I do this for. It sounds silly, but creating this content and creating podcasts and creating content and consumable information seems frivolous to some, but depending on how it's interpreted and then put out back into the world, let's say your winner of the challenge, heard you talking about certain things for months, took it upon herself to actually dive into what you said, changed her life, arguably, I would say. I don't know how much weight she lost or how she looked. She probably changed her life and will continue to change her life for months and years to come. That all came from...
She looks great, bro.
I'm sure. She won, right? The winner.
She won. And let me tell you, I have to shout out the other ladies, too, who could participated. Like I said, even though Anna didn't lose that much weight, because Dawn and I were the ones that saw the pictures, I mean... you can see it in like
just body composition.
And that's why like I wanted to make sure that she like knew, like, listen, just because your scale didn't say it, it's noticeable. Like it totally is noticeable. Susie also, who was also another participant, she looked great before, but I guess again, you see what I'm saying? She looked great before, but I think everybody has an idea of what they want to look like.
Yeah.
And you could tell she lost inches as well. So yes, I completely...
Yeah, so to answer your question, I guess it's... And I hate the term influencer, and I think you do too, but what we do is a sense of... It's a form of influencing, people, a population, a community, an audience. And I think that... Because if you had a craft, like you're a skilled sign language interpreter, is that the right term? Sign language interpreter. You can go and literally use your trade to change somebody's life by helping them get a job, helping them get, whatever they need. But that's one person. Through this podcast, you could affect tens of thousands of maybe eventually millions of people. And that feeling alone, it's like, I feel like I'm doing something. You could even just talk about sign language interpreting and talk to the audience that's into that and change thousands or hundreds of lives, right? So yeah, that's why I appreciate people that are craftsmen of sorts, like your plumbers and your construction workers, because they're doing things that are literally changing the shape of their environments or communities, building roads and shit. But for this, it's like, I feel like this is my place, kind of, is being in an environment where you obviously included in Chingo, you want to do more with your voice because you have the ability to do so. If you were a rocket scientist, you would want to go build some fucking rockets, right? So this is kind of like our battleship or our fucking NASA over here.
Yeah, I agree.
So back now you tell me, what's your mission in life?
For sure, my children.
Yeah.
I want them to understand that nothing is given. You have to work at shit. And just because mom and dad helped you out, and how you have to understand that that's not how easy life works. And I want to make that a point to them all the time, which is the reason why I decided to start this whole star situation with Penny, this chart. And, because she wants a Barbie dream house. Although she told me the other day she no longer wants one. She says she'd rather have a house that's personalized and that it says Penny. I was like, this girl, I swear.
But everything you do revolves around your kids, right?
Correct. I never... so I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started teaching Zumba, I remember looking at the women, because you're facing the mirror, right? And I remember looking at the women in the back, and I just remember having this thought of saying, all these my classes were crunk. Okay. They were full. I'm not even trying to like toot my own horn, but they were like crunk. Right. And so I'd see this big group of women and I'm their instructor and they're following what I'm doing. But yet I'm telling you, move faster, move harder, make sure your heart is pumping. Yet I'm not really the ideal instructor in my mind because I felt like I needed to look like I was in shape so that you have something to say, oh, well, if I continue to work, then I too will be healthy and my body will start to change, right? Mm-hmm. Which is what put a pep in my step to really like understand food better, which, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's where the whole getting certified as a personal trainer came about. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt that if I'm going to lead women into a healthier version of themselves, I needed to be a healthier version of myself. Same thing with my podcast now and my brand, you know what I'm saying? Her apparel. My whole thing behind it is like, I want for women to feel empowered. And I'm not talking about, the fuck men empowerment either. So before we get into this women, I'm not into that. Old me probably felt a certain kind of way about that, but I've never, I can honestly say till this day, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feel I need my husband to be successful. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? I know how to work. I've always worked. I was self-employed before I met him. You know, I still feel that women need some kind of independence to where, even if it's, for example, if you're a stay-at-home mom, I still feel you need to let motherfuckers know because your job is hard as fig.
Yeah.
You're there all day long. Okay. All day long fucking with laundry, cleaning, these children. Now your husband comes home. Now you got to fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to take care of whatever he has going on, right? And who's taking care of you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No one's care. That job alone is holy smokes. If that job was compensated, now that job I'd feel would need to be compensated by the state. Like if they said we need to bring a salary for that one, I'd be like, yes, ma'am.
I'm down for that socialist program.
Bring that fucking program in, because those moms who are still even trying to be self-employed, taking kids to their activities, you know, being a part of their life, trying to make sure that they're on point. You know what I'm saying? It's a job. It's a hard job, you know? So like, I just want a community. That's why I love like this, what we have going. It's because I feel like we have even the men that join. I'm not just talking about the women before they feel like bitch, is on you. Even the men too. We need a positive group of men. We need a positive group of women who are going to continue to influence. So if you make little soldiers of good people with good vibes, good intentions, then it spreads, and then you're like a part of this badass fucking like world of ecosystem. Good people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I said shit. If shit hits the fan, bro, my people in my Discord, we need to find out where we all finna live.
Yeah. Where's what is it?
Where is the compound?
Where's the compound?
Let me work on this land so that I can go ahead and start.
And I don't want to blow up their heads, but you got 3 of the best TIA agents that just, you know, that are in the HERR World Discord.
Yeah. Shout out to
Sparky, Giovanni, and Juan Big Stoner.
And Juan Big Stoner just joined. So if you are a listener, we now have a new tier, and this is how we'll end it.
Yeah.
Start the new one. We now have a tier on our Patreon where you can sign up as just a Discord member. You don't get the bonus episode, but you know, you can come on, be a part of HERR World in the sense of the Discord, and just meet a bunch of fucking badass people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not just saying that. We literally have a group of badass women, a group of badass men. And if you unite this way, this is what I'm talking about. The government doesn't want badass people.
Oh yeah. They don't want the people united.
Bro,
we a problem.
They fucking would be scared of our fucking Discord. Seriously, if they saw like,
we're on a list.
Hey, Just Tier alone is probably on a list. Sorry, Just Tier, you are probably on a fucking list, my G, because
she's too off the grid.
She is too off the grid, and so I can't wait to have her because we are about to get schooled. I almost feel like we're going to have to do a series with her. So when she comes in, I feel like she's going to have to be here like all day.
She's going to have to come in like overalls and like different like.
Yeah, I feel like she needs to like, okay, we're doing podcast 1 and 2, but I also need 3 and 4 because we need to discuss this other shit. You know what I'm saying? Because she's been off the grid for so long. You know what I'm saying? She's learned so much. And I feel like even if you feel like y'all are so weird, you damn, what are they called? Doomsday preppers, right? Yeah, that's what they call them, right? Because trust me, I used to think that.
I mean,
about
you're
people.
officially that.
I think I'm officially that.
You're a prepper. You have a whole pantry dedicated to it.
I can't wait to show y'all whenever I get my cow. It's in September, but I'll get my cow. I can't wait to show y'all what all the pieces that we got. So I'm gonna make a video of that. And
to get updates on that, we didn't mention at the beginning, MarisolHerrera.com is the website. Join the newsletter. Join the newsletter. Join our Discord. Be a part of a group, guys. I'm saying this for real. If you want to be a part of just amazing people, smart people, you know what I'm saying, like people that and listen, like Crystal said the other day, she's like, I'm not really into politics, right? But she takes what we talk about and she kind of like marinates on it. She also has her own opinion about where things that she didn't, I guess like that she didn't know about or, is learning about. And I think that's what makes us better people, right? Is just because you may not, like, that's why I always say it's okay if you don't agree with me. The fact that you're listening still, right? And you're listening to this public episode, it's because there's something in there that's curious that you've got some kind of curiosity, right? And I feel like I learned from people whose vision I don't see the same as mine, right? And I don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to agree with me. But the fact that we can both sit here and have a conversation is just amazing without someone coming in and calling all kind of names. Listen, guys, I'm going to end it with this real quick. And it's just, I'm obsessed with watching that girl, Blair White. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And we all know she's transgender. She has no problem letting you know, right? And she said, if you were really 100% man and 100% female, right, when you transitioned, then you didn't need the word trans in front of who you now are. So you don't need to be a trans woman or a trans man, right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because you're trying to still identify who this is. My point to that is you have to come to a place in your life where you have to start looking at shit and be like, bro, they really think I'm an idiot. Like they really are trying to feed me garbage. And I'm just supposed to buy whatever you are saying. And I'm supposed to be okay with it. And I'm not supposed to question it. And we're going to go on to the next one because this bill that just passed, guys, get ready for your taxes. If you already pay a lot of taxes, just get ready to pay more.
My soul's like, trust me, I know.
Just get ready.
So we'll see
You've
everybody.
not seen taxes after this. That's all I got to say. So on that point, come on over to MarisolHerrera.com and join her world. Let's make a whole fucking clan of soldiers where they're fucking scared of us because we're so educated on top of it, and we're constantly learning and educating one another and being open to different ideas. If you are struggling with your weight, guys, figure out what it is that you're really struggling with. It's something deeper to where you've made food your crutch. And it's like Natalia said when she came, she knew that working out was her antidepressant medication and she had to keep up with it. You have to find what really, toots your horn. What makes you feel like, you know what I'm saying? This is how I'm going to keep myself healthy. Keyword, guys, healthy. You don't want to be a burden on your children in the future. If anything, you want them to be like, this is my mom who I go visit. Can y'all believe she still comes and does 3-mile walks with me? You know what I'm saying? And she's fucking 82. We're not living long enough anymore, guys. And if you haven't figured out why that is, it's our food, the fucking nasty ass food they sell us, it's our food choice, right? It's making being overweight positive. It's not positive. I just want you to know that. And I'm just going to make it clear. It's not positive. It's not okay to be overweight. You have got to work on whatever that issue is so that you are a healthy person. No one says you need to go and have a six pack and have biceps and triceps and fucking big ass shoulders. None of it. You just need to not be on medication. You just need to just not have any health issues so that you can be good and live long and be a good citizen and, provide fucking, just whatever you have to offer to the world.
Amen, Marisol.
You know what I'm saying? On that note, see y'all next week.
Friday.
For my people who are on the Patreon. See, that's why you got to join. Bye.